So as the stay in your lane guy that I am, I don't often buy MCU or cartoon figures anymore. Well, when Target's got deals and Walmart's putting stuff out, you gotta make exceptions. Hey YouTube, what goes on? And welcome back to Disavowed Action Figures, bringing you another action figure unboxing and review. Tonight, taking a closer look at the new Daredevil Born Again, Daredevil and Punisher, and the new X-Men 97 Cable. So as I mentioned in the cold opening, I don't do MCU very often, which essentially they are MCU, right? And I really don't do cartoon figures really much at all. However, Cable. So Target recently had a great deal going on. It just ended actually this weekend, where it was basically spend like $40 on toys, get 10 back, something like that. So I couldn't resist the fact of getting each one of these for $19.99 a piece. Great deal. Actually, I got two Storms. This was in stock at one store. I got a Storm with it, picked it up at the store, got that in stock with another Storm, took both Storms back, so I don't care about that back Storm right now because it's probably going to clearance. And then Cable was at Walmart through the whole wave. I got there right at the right time. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to break these things open, look at them a little bit, move them around a little bit, talk about them, compare them to the figures, and basically have fun. And if you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you. It does not cost you anything. It helps us grow the channel tremendously on the march to 8,000 subscribers. While you're at it, go ahead and click that bell for notifications, because that way YouTube should notify and tell you when we post new content here to the channel, like our weekly toy hunts, reviews, and live streams. Leave a comment down below, hit that like button. And for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try checking us out over Instagram at disavowed_12. Let's open some toys. So we're going to kick it off with Frank Castle, the Punisher from Daredevil Born Again. I had sold my original MCU John Barenthal Punisher. It was going for a stupid amount of money before they announced this, and I figured I might as well just get rid of it because I knew I'd probably pick this one up. So we're not going to do a comparison with that one, unfortunately, but I am excited to get this one in the collection. He was a pretty fun part of Daredevil Born Again. I enjoyed the show. In the comments down below what you thought. Some people love it, some people hate it. But here we got Barenthal. So you've seen the entire case kind of rotating around right here. We have the Daredevil Born Again logo. We got Frank Castle on the side. If you want to take a second and pause and read that, you can go right ahead. But again, it's a Punisher figure, and I feel like we're getting more now than we used to. But for a long time, we didn't get a lot of Punishers. So here's another Punisher. So here is John Barenthal Punisher out of the packaging with everything that he comes with. And I paid $19.99, so I'm not going to be too picky with this. It looks okay. It does come with accessories, obviously. So we do get default, like a grabbing kind of hand. We get a gun trigger hand over there. We get a second kind of gun holding gun trigger hand right there. We get a one fist hand, which why don't we get two fists? That's weird. We do get a knife. Here's the knife right here. Again, of course, it's very gummy, as you would expect. It is Hasbro. It is Marvel Legends. We do get the handgun right here as well. Also seems very small. It all seems very tiny to me. The clip, I guess, down below, or whatever you want to call it, magazine. I don't know. I think it's a clip for one of those. I'm not a gun guy. And you get the axe, which are the hatchet, whatever you want to call it. He did kind of like attack Daredevil with this, I think, or threatened to use it on him when he first made his reappearance on the new show. So those are the accessories. Not a ton with it, but let's take a closer look at the Punisher himself. So the head sculpt does look like him. I'll say that much. It's kind of a weird expression. I kind of feel like I'd rather see him be very, very like pissed off. This is like indifferent. Like if I tilt the head, it's like I'm pondering whether I'm doing the right thing in this city. That's kind of weird, but it does look like him. The photo reel is accurate as it always is. We get the nice Punisher logo right here going on the chest. He has all sorts of like different like little accessory things going on here. These are all attached or molded on, but I guess different gun clips or whatever. In the back, we get a sheath for the knife. We get a little holster here for the side piece. We have some nice knee pads that are textured well right here. There's some pockets and things going on here on the pants. On the back, a lot of folds going on here on the legs. I don't know where all these parts come from. I'm not that type of reviewer. I don't know where they all come from. Here we get a little bit of, is that a U.S. flag on the side right there? Going on right there, an emblem. And then back here also like a little Punisher logo. So overall, to me, it looks pretty good. Again, would have liked another head sculpt where he kind of looks angry. Like he's usually screaming and all mad on the show. He just looks a little too indifferent to me right here for a head sculpt. Taking a look at articulation, the head will rotate all the way around in a circle. There is that good pivot going on down here, extra articulation in the neck. The head with that will look down very far. It will look up relatively far as well. Crazy tilt and attitude. Again, looking very Very contemplative with that face sculpt, that portrait right there. Shoulder will rotate all the way around. It goes out about 90. Get the upper bicep cut, double jointed, pinless elbow right there. This particular hand will rotate all the way around. It is horizontal hinge left and right, but this hand, the gun holding hand, is an up and down hinge. As far as the legs are concerned, we have an upper cut in the thigh. We have a double jointed pinless knee that will go very far back, actually. Looking pretty good right there. As far as how far forward it's going to kick, about that far forward. How far back? Not very much at all. Splits, if you wanted to be a gymnast, about that far out. The foot will go down about that far. Foot will go up a little bit as well. It is also on a rocker. There are no boot cuts going on here in the boot. As far as the torso is concerned, there is no cut here in the waist. It's all going to be up here. So that will go around that way and rotate. It'll go that far to the side, that far to that side. So overall articulation, pretty much what you would expect on this Jon Bernthal figure. Nothing too crazy. I like the fact that at least the gun holding hand is on the correct type of hinge. Also worth noting, as far as the shoulder goes, it doesn't really look like much of a butterfly, but you get this in right here. So you get a little bit across the middle right there, a little bit going back, but it's not like a crazy type of butterfly like you do see on some of these Marvel Legends that they're doing. Also, I do always appreciate when we do get storage. So we get storage for the gun, storage for the knife in the back. We do get the two trigger hands, but only one gun. So I guess it's more of a grabbing hand to hold that. So it looks kind of goofy that his trigger finger is going to be hanging out. I'm sure there's tons of weapons you can use with this guy. Also, the skin tone to me is very kind of like, I don't know, it looks kind of just too, I'm not basic, but I don't know. I don't think the Punisher is this pale, if that makes any sense. And it just seems small. The hand seems small to me. I don't really know why. It just seems to be the case. But again, we do get decent enough accessories. Got him some weapons going on here. And if you want to have him holding other weapons in your collection, obviously, you could. And I think that's like a choking hand. I'm not going to take the time to mess around with that. But let's compare to some other figures. So sticking with the black and white motif, here are two comic book Marvel Legends. Here is the retro carded black symbiote suit Spider-Man, as well as the Punisher from the Warzone 2-pack. So again, MCU is going to skew a little bit smaller. You can see Frank Castle probably a little bit taller here, I think. Maybe a little bit, not too much. Also, his hair is pretty high in the air. But that's how it looks with comic book-based figures. Here is Frank as compared to the Kingpin Marvel Legend release of Vincent D'Onofrio. That does not age very well at all as compared to these. And there is our original Netflix Matt Murdock Daredevil right there. We will compare him at the end of the video to the new Daredevil, which we're unboxing next. But yeah, that D'Onofrio, oof, not too great considering. And here is the Punisher as compared to some Defenders figures from Netflix. We get the Luke Cage figure that came in our 2-pack, and we also get the Jessica Jones figure as well, which is a really great action figure. And also, it sounds as if, for the way it's going, we'll see those two characters very soon, with Frank potentially on future episodes of Daredevil Born Again. And two other random comparisons. Here is Trigger from the Bobby Valaverse Action Force figure line, and also the NECA re-released RoboCop. And here is our Daredevil, Matt Murdock from Daredevil Born Again. I did fight the urge to sell the original Netflix Daredevil despite what it was worth, so I still have that in the collection for comparison. But I definitely wanted to get this, as I did really enjoy this show, and I'm enjoying the fact they're continuing the original premise of the show. So let's get them out of the box. And if you really want to, go ahead and take a second, pause it, and you can read what they wrote about him. And here is our Matt Murdock Daredevil from Daredevil Born Again, rotating on the base, and I'm digging this. It's looking pretty good. Again, the fact I got it for $19.99 plus tax, which is 6% in the state of Pennsylvania where I reside. I'm liking this. Again, $24.99, you know, it's getting a little bit high, but anytime you get those deals, especially this time of year, it's great. So he looks good. In terms of accessories, you do get this reused kind of like a line that connects to the billy clubs. It is not bendy wire. I kind of feel like you probably make something like this out of something easy if you wanted to. So again, it'll always bounce back to its actual shape. We do get alternate hands. So coming on the figure itself, we do get, looks to be two gripping hands, which I'm guessing will be for the billy clubs. And then we do get the other hand. So we get like a grabbing hand right here, similar to the Punisher. We get a punching hand, but here's where my problem comes in. It's frickin' Daredevil. Guess what he does? Punch people, among other things, but he punches people. Why do we get one fist with Daredevil? I guess the same with the Punisher, but at least he has two gun-holding hands with one gun. But one punching fist? Seriously? It's Daredevil. That's like his main thing. He punches people. I don't get it. And then looking at the billy clubs themselves, these are textured rather nicely. Kind of like that. We do get the silver here at the top, I guess you would say. And there are ports or holes in them. However, it does not look like there's a peg to connect them. So a lot of Daredevils and Moon Knights and whatnot usually can kind of combine the billy clubs into more of a different weapon. However, here, not so much. There is no little tab to plug those in, but at least we got the billy clubs because we kind of needed those, right? And looking closer at Daredevil, that head sculpt is basically what it's all about, right? Obviously, the uniform is slightly different color. We'll compare that again in a little bit to the other one. But again, that head sculpt looks pretty good. The 5 o'clock shadow looks better on this one than the old one. We get the red in on the eyes, looking pretty good. Got the devil's horns going on top of the head. In the back, again, the one thing I guess I can complain about is that I feel like all these MCU figures, the texturing is way too similar. And we'll compare these to some of the other recent MCU figures like Deadpool, I did it once already, and the Wolverine figure, the Hugh Jackman. But again, these all look too similar. Like even the Sentry, which I'm not going to buy until it's on a stupid clearance or at Ollie's, which it will be eventually. But again, whatever, we'll compare it then. But in terms of everything else here, uniform looks good. We get storage for the billy clubs in the back, got the straps going around for the storage. So I like the texturing. It's just that it seems like it's too across the board. It's too similar across all these figures. Quick articulation. Head does rotate all the way around. Head will look down about that far. Head will look up about that far. Crazy tilt. And again, you do get that extra articulation down here in the neck. So the head will do a lot of crazy things for you. Shoulder goes all the way around. Goes up super, super far. Wow, very far. Upper bicep cut. Double jointed pinless elbow. Hand will rotate all the way around. Hand is on what seems to be a left to right hinge. We do get a cut here in the waist on Daredevil, unlike with the Punisher. As far as the torso goes, not much going on here. I thought we'd get a little bit more bend. I guess that's why we don't get, why we do have, I should say, the cut in the waist, because we're not going to get much left to right. I really thought we're going to get like a ton of that going on, and it's not that type of articulation. Upper thigh cut in the leg. Double jointed pinless knee, kicks himself in the butt really, really well. There is not a boot cut going on. It looks like there should be, but there's not. Foot does go down about that far. Foot goes up about that far. It's on a rocker. Kicks forward, pretty good. Kicks back, a little bit more than the Punisher does. Does the splits if you want to be a gymnast about that far out. So again, different articulation scheme on Daredevil than you're getting on the Punisher, but I'm good with it. Whatever. It does what it probably needs to do. Then the same thing with the shoulders. You do get that butterfly articulation. It doesn't stand out quite as much, so it goes about that far back. Comes across the middle about that far. And then again, I typically don't really use these billy club accessories too much. I should say the lines too much. I do use the billy clubs. But if you wanted to see how that kind of bends right there, it looks okay if you wanted to use it. But I typically don't, just because of space issues on a shelf. But again, you can find ways to use that accessory if you really want to. Kind of throwing things forward as well, I would think. Just kind of messing around here. Off camera, it pops right out. Let's see if we can there it all fell apart on me here. So again, just kind of pegs into the hole, into the port, like so. So if you want to have them throwing it or whipping it around or whatever, you could do that as well if you really wanted to. Also, I feel like mentioning that shoulder again, it is a lot more effective than the Punisher's butterflies are, which again, I think would probably be by design, considering the fact it's Daredevil and he's going to be doing more acrobatic sorts of things. But again, these will also port right into the side. Always love area to store accessories to not lose them if I don't want them holding them. And here is the new Born Again Daredevil as compared to the original Netflix series Daredevil. I might have said Sony at some point. If I did, I apologize. But I guess he technically wasn't a Sony movie along with Spider-Man, right? But there they are. And this is a little bit darker of a color. But seeing them on set with my lighting, it's not that obvious, but it is brightened up a little bit right here. Obviously, that's the comic book Daredevil from the Man Without Fear 3-pack. That's my go-to Daredevil, my collection for comic books right now. And again, MCU tends to be a little bit shorter, but I feel like looking at it here, it might be slightly taller than both of these. And just since they're both here, taking a closer look at both head sculpts at the same time. Let me rotate the light for you. You can see right here, I think that this is a much better head sculpt. This one here I always thought looked kind of derpy almost. The facial hair never looked quite right to me. This one here, also the horns being a little lower, I think, on the mask. The eyes look better on this one here. So again, this is a superior figure, I'm pretty sure. In terms of articulation, I don't think there's that much of a difference between the two. I'm glad I kept this one, so I have both now. But yeah, let's do some more comparisons. And some more comparisons. Here is the aforementioned John Barenthal Punisher that we just unboxed with the new Daredevil Born Again, along with the original Deadpool Fox figure. This is not the re-release or the MCU version. That's the original. I just like that one enough. So they look a little bit different there with the aesthetics. And then here is the Hugh Jackman Wolverine. So they all size up well. I'm sure at some point, maybe Secret Wars or something or other, we'll see these four characters have a conversation. And here is the new Daredevil with the Wilson Fisk Kingpin Build-A-Figure comic book version and Robin DC Multiverse, who just fell off, but I'm just going to roll with it. And here's Matt Murdock with the Jada Toys Street Fighter II Chun-Li and the G.I. Joe Classified Jinx. And it's totally accidental that she's made herself blind and he's actually blind. That just kind of happened by accident. And busting into our final figure review of this video, here is Marvel's Cable from X-Men 97. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have very many of the X-Men 97s. Might be like at the most 2 or 3. I think I bought one for full price. But this cable, when I saw it at Walmart, just looks so friggin' good. I needed to get it. And here's Cable out of that carded packaging. And I just want to put a little preface to this. When I say it looks great for an animated figure. I don't think I personally want to try to fudge this into my comic book shelf. It just looks too cartoony, but that's what I actually like about it, is the fact that I loved X-Men the Animated Series growing up as a kid. I loved X-Men 97, and although I'm not collecting most of the line, this just looks really good. And I also asked myself whether or not the value on this will shoot up because of the fact they announced that Apocalypse made-to-order figure recently in New York Comic Con. So I feel like if you're going to have that, you need Cable to go against him. So I'm liking it. It comes with a lot of stuff. Let's take a close look at the accessories. So I feel like there's a fair amount of stuff with this. He's a big chunky figure to begin with, but we do get a real big Cable gun. And actually, it's not too gummy of a plastic, which is nice. This is, again, looking very cartoony. It's supposed to. It's a freaking cartoon. So I think that looks all right. We do get the smaller gun or blaster right here. A little bit of red going on that. We do get the blast effects. They both look to be the same. Those will plug in to, I think, the front of both guns, or potentially maybe the same gun if you want to do both. Let's see here. So yeah, there you go. Plugs right in that one, no problem. Our other blaster down here, that will also plug in, no problem as well. Alternate hands. He comes with what looks to be a fist or a punching hand and kind of a grabbing, kind of more open hand. We do get one trigger finger hand here and another trigger finger hand here. So again, the trigger fingers will obviously both go on to hold both guns at the same time. Again, it kind of drives me nuts to only get one fist. How much more extra would it actually cost them to give us a set of fists for these figures? But whatever. Let's take a close look at Cable. And as I said, as an animated look, I do prefer my Cable in my X-Force shelf or my comic shelf. If it's a comic book character, we'll compare those in a little bit. But we get the kind of X going on right here on the front, big old belt buckle. We have some pouches and stuff going on here on the waist, which looks fine. Robot arm, I'd prefer it to be chromed out, but it is a cartoon. The back of it, again, the boots looking okay. All sorts of pouches along the hips down below. Again, looks like Cable. Honestly, it looks like Cable. We get the eye, the paint around the eye right there, which looks great. We got like the communication kind of phone thing here on the side of his head. So overall, I'm okay with it. Again, taking it for what it is, a cartoon figure, I'm liking it. Articulation, the head will go all the way around. It will look down very far, actually. It will look back, not too far. It's kind of catching that back piece of the collar. You do get some tilt, some attitude there. Wow, actually a lot more than I thought going on, as you can see. Shoulder, okay, so this is going to probably hurt us a little bit here. So yeah, okay, so you can't go really you can go all the way around, but it's not going to go all the way up here because of this piece right here. It will come out to about 90 despite that being there. Upper bicep cut. We do get the double jointed pinless elbow, a little bit inhibited here by what we got going on there around the arm. Hand will rotate all the way around. It has on a left to right hinge. The trigger hands look to also be, no, they're up and down. Good, they did make those up and down for holding the gun. In terms of his legs, upper thigh cut, double jointed, very smooth actually. Pinless knee, doesn't go all the way back to his butt, but pretty far. Foot will go down about that far. Foot will go up about that far. It's on a rocker. There is not a boot cut going on with this guy. Foot, or leg, I should say, kicks forward a little bit like that. Leg backward, not too much, but a little bit. If you want to make a gymnast, yes, I said it 3 times in this video, there is your split going on right there. There is not a cut in the waist, so all your articulation is going to happen up here. So he will go that far to the side, that far to that side, that far back, that far forward. So shoulders are not on a butterfly or anything like that, just typical type of shoulder joint right there. Here's a look at the arm with the skin as opposed to the metal arm on this side. So again, articulation, I think it's what you'd probably expect for Cable. And as I'm messing around with it, actually, there is a cut in the waist. It's hidden by the belt. So not only do you get the cut there, you do get great articulation in the upper part, but this guy looks badass. He really does. This is straight up just 90s goodness to me. I think it's looking great. Bounce him back a little bit there. The blasters will wave him forward. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, that big blaster is going to kind of make him fall a little forward there. And the feet are a little loose, I've noticed. Let's see if he'll stay there. Okay, there we go. So you got to kind of mess around a little bit with that. But again, that big blaster will kind of weigh him down in the front a little bit. But I think it looks fine for what it is. And again, don't buy it as a comic book figure for your comic book shelf. Again, I'm going to kind of have him separate to his own thing. Probably just on a random shelf of other things mixed together, not necessarily all Marvel Legends, but I'm liking it. And here is Cable as compared to the only two X-Men 97 figures I'm pretty sure that I own, which is the Wolverine, which I found super early at a Walmart. Did a review on it, went pretty well. And the Magneto, which I got for like $5.99 at Ross. And I just literally opened it just now to show you, despite finding it at Ross several months ago. So again, Cable, big beefy boy in terms of the X-Men 97 scale figures. And if you wanted to see Cable with kind of his parents, here is the Cyclops. And again, this is that older Cyclops, not the new X-Men 97 version of it. I picked this up from the Toy Mayor at a toy show several months ago. So happy to finally have that. And then also we do have the Jean Grey Phoenix, came out in 2024. So again, you can kind of mix and match if you want to. I know he wore that in the cartoon. Cyclops rather did. And I can't remember if Jean was in the Phoenix outfit at all or not, but you can make it work. And I do not have every single Cable figure in my collection, but I have quite a few, enough to do an all Cable review. So here's Cable as compared to, well, Cable. Here is essentially the Capcom Cable that did not come out too long ago in the Zabu wave, I believe. And this, again, is an older one. You can see the pins in there. That's my favorite Cable. I want to say it was a Deadpool wave around like 2016, 2018, something like that. So again, he'll be on a kind of separate shelf to himself. He's on an X-Men shelf with the Jean and Scott figure I just showed, as well as some other Summers-related figures. And he's on my X-Men team shelf with X-Force. And I think all three of these looks have a use in your collection, this being the more updated kind of look for Cable in the comics, and or if you want to do Capcom versus Marvel, this to me is very much more the kind of grittier looking Cable from the 90s, taking part in the X-Force comic books, and then again, the animated look right there. And last, and as everybody loves to say, certainly not least, here is the Daredevil Born Again Marvel Legend, John Barenthal Punisher Born Again, and Cable X-Men 97 as compared to the Jazzwares unrivaled AW Orange Cassidy. All right, so final thoughts. Overall, I am happy with these purchases. I don't buy a ton of Marvel Legends when they first come out, unless something I really, really want. I jumped at the fact to get these on a $19.99 sale. I feel that's very much worth the money right there in terms of today's pricing. Yeah, he probably could have used an alternate head to look a little bit less derpy and confused. Daredevil, even him, an alternate head of him screaming, because he yelled a lot. He yells a lot in general, but he yelled a lot in the new series. So that would have been cool to get alternate heads with those guys. And the Cable is fine. I paid regular price at Walmart. I'm cool with it for what I got with this guy. It's not going to start a trend for me of buying all these X-Men 97 figures, but I'm happy to have him because he does look very unique on the shelf. Again, I'll be curious to see a long game. Punishers tend to be pretty valuable down the road. So again, I don't buy for value, but just saying, you never know. We know what happened to the last Daredevil. He blew up in price. And then also the Cable with the announcement of that, again, Apocalypse made to order X-Men 97 figure coming out next year. You got to wonder if maybe he'll be rare to find. But with that said, thanks for watching. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It is free for you. It does not cost you anything and helps us grow the channel tremendously on the march to 8,000 subscribers. While you're at it, go ahead and click that bell for notifications, because that way YouTube should notify you, tell you when we post new content here to the channel, like our weekly toy hunts, reviews, and live streams. Leave a comment down below, hit that like button, and for daily toy content and daily toy updates, try checking us out over at Instagram at Disavowed_12. Hey everybody, if you're going toy hunting this week, please try to remember the 3 Ps of the toy hunt: patience, persistence, most of all, politeness. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.